gaming, and you never know what you're going to find at an estate sale. I come from a long line of country cooks in this area, and I just thought I would show the young folk today some of the utensils I grew up with back in the day for home-cooked meals, back when everything was done from scratch and by hand. First thing is, we have a vintage tea strainer. My mama used to use loose tea, boil a little bit of water in a pot, add like 3 teaspoons of the tea, cook that and get it boiling. Then, once it was boiling, we took this tea strainer and poured the contents of that teapot with the cooked tea into this strainer and added it to a big gallon to make our tea, and it was always fresh and good. Vintage tea strainer. Second thing, homemade mashed potatoes. We also use this if we boil squash to make squash casserole and things of that nature. You used to take your potatoes, boil them soft, let them cool off and peel them, and you just mashed them. And you had some of the best chunky mashed potatoes. Mashed potato. Second thing, everybody loves these with the antique Hoosiers. Mama used to make biscuits, cakes, and pies, and this is a flour sifter. You never got it wet. You would wipe it out with a damp cloth, but you'd add your flour to it, and it would sift it out beautifully. Best way to eat mac and cheese, Mama got the New York extra sharp cheddar cheese block. Never did buy it pre-grated. Grated it fresh, right here on this colander. My friend Joan that works for Sims also does the same thing, grates her cheese. It's just sharper and more flavorful. This little apparatus would cut your knuckles. You had to be careful and cut your fingers. And it had different grating sizes. You can make a fine coleslaw here, cheese slivers here, mac and cheese here, or the super fine grater here. But don't do it with onions because it's hard to get the flavor off. This little apparatus was really cool. This is just called a food strainer back in the day. You could put it over your sink. Baby food way back in the 30s and 40s was made at home. They used to do potatoes. They'd peel them and then just take potatoes, and this came with a pestle. You could mash it out and get the water out, and it worked really good too for squash to get the seeds out so the baby didn't eat the seeds, as well as apples. Some people used to use this too to mash fruit like berries, blackberries, things of this nature. Everything came out through this little apparatus, these little areas right here. Drained it out, and it was a good little apparatus to have. Love to find an egg beater or an old beater. We don't have one of those at this sale, but if you ever find and get those, they work great. Coming from a long line of Dutch Fork cooks, did I tell y'all I love to cook?
Hey Amy, what's for supper?
We're gonna have browned pork cutlets topped with a sweet potato yam, topped with pineapple crisscrossed with bacon that we're gonna bake in the oven at 350 till it's nice and brown. We're gonna have some brown rice. We're gonna have some homemade yeast rolls, and we're gonna have some fresh green beans and cold iced tea. And for dessert, we're gonna have some sweet potato pie or some sweet pecan pie. And that's what we're gonna have for supper.